Welcome back to Milesh and Sadie Property Talks, the podcast where we explore property design and the decisions behind successful projects.
I'm Milesh, property developer, strategic advisor, and founder of The Property Edge.
And I'm Sadie, an interior designer helping create homes and developments that people genuinely want to live in, buy, and stay in.
Throughout this series, we've spoken about markets, projects, profitability, design, and decision making. It's just one or two things. But today, we're making it personal.
We are looking back at the biggest decisions that we have made in our businesses and the lessons that we've learned from them.
So when you look back, success rarely comes from hundreds of decisions. It's usually a handful of key decisions that change everything. So let's go.
Let's go. It's been a long journey.
Yeah. How long have you been in business?
I have been in business about 7 years, actually, as Sadie Pitsy Interiors.
Okay.
But obviously the journey started because before that we had a decade developing properties. And that was absolutely fundamental to getting to starting up my own business, because I always say, and I think this is actually for anyone in property, being on site and learning hands-on is basically the best thing you can do. I'm not saying you need to be digging your foundations yourself, but if you are on site and you're constantly learning and asking questions, you really understand how to renovate property.
Or in my case,
Yeah.
you learn that you really don't like it and don't want to do it.
No, I know you don't.
But you understand the processes and what's involved.
Yes.
So you can use that knowledge, information to work with the people that are going to be doing the doing
Yes.
that you don't like doing.
Yes, it's true.
So nonetheless, whichever direction you go in with it, that foundation of knowledge is critical, I think.
Yes.
I agree.
100% I do.
So you did developing for 10 years. What happened? Why Sadie Pitsy Interiors?
I always knew that I wanted to go into interior design. But I had to get to a point where we were sort of through with our developing journey, which came quite naturally to an end when it was a combination of, my husband and I did it together. He was sort of over it and having kids, and that becomes quite tricky to manage.
Can I just pull you up on something?
Yeah.
So, when you said doing and digging and all of that,
yeah.
who actually did that out of the two of you?
Look, Chris was a little bit more hands-on than me, but that's only because somebody had to project manage. Basically, someone had to boss the other person around, and I just do that so well.
So you wanted to protect your nails, and Chris got his hands dirty.
Yeah, I think that's
for your benefit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Great. Now he's got that against me forever. It's on camera. I knew that I wanted to do it. I think a lot of growing businesses is also about the place you are in your life. So for me, I knew that I didn't want to start my own business until the kids were at school. I wanted to sort of focus on them whilst we were on our renovation journey. And then I had the headspace and the actual time to focus on it. And then I actually took about a year to work out what I wanted the business to look like. It was a long slog I did some sort of business development stuff, which was really important because I think everybody, when they want to go into a new business, they focus on the skills they need in that business. But actually, the business side of it is just as important. So that was really important.
Music.
I know, Milesh. It's like I've literally positioned it for you.
But it's so true, though, isn't it? Genuinely, think of a situation where that hadn't happened.
Yeah.
How different could the story have been?
Well, I could have lost a lot of money because one of the fundamental things I learned early on was tracking my hours. And I mean, you could say, okay, you should definitely do that on a project so you know how long each part takes, because that's how you know how you're going to charge. But actually, if you can get in, and I'm not quite there yet, but if you can track your hours on everything you do, that really gives you the overall sort of bigger picture of where are you spending time, where are you wasting time, and really tightening up all the elements of business in your life.
And does that help you with your pricing?
Yes.
And how competitive you are or aren't, and therefore, put words in your mouth here, and therefore the type of clients you want to be working with?
100%. So early on, actually, I learned that I charged hourly for my first few projects because I didn't actually know how long things were going to take.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that was the best advice I learned through doing this business course. So I never lost money, which I would have if I just sort of gone, oh, I'll just charge this. But you're right. It means that I don't, how our fees are put together. And I always say this actually when I'm doing a fee proposal is we track all our hours. So we have all the data of how each part of it takes. So therefore, I'm not overcharging. I'm not undercharging. I'm actually charging the time it's going to take for us to work on the different components of the project. That puts us in a position, if people don't want to spend it, they've got an option to reduce down the scope of how much we're involved. But we would certainly never just go, fine, we'll reduce our fees just to suit you, because that would be bad in business.
Yeah. And that takes a bit of confidence, right?
Yeah.
To be able to turn business away, particularly when you're starting out, or have the conversation that might turn the business away because you're first starting out.
I think you're right. But I think the confidence thing, which I'll be interested to see if you feel like this, it's something that grows over time.
100%. Yeah.
The early days of a new business, you're sort of, that kind of phrase, you fake it till you make it, but you kind of are like, so much that you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think as well, understanding your value.
Yeah.
And being comfortable enough to put a number on that, which is really hard.
Really hard.
Like, I think if people don't struggle with that, then I'll be surprised.
Definitely.
It's something that you need to validate for yourself before you can go out there and start talking numbers with people.
Yeah.
And also, it's not going to be the same forever.
No.
Because you're always growing. And so that needs to be reviewed as well.
That is, I think, again, one of the biggest parts of being in business is the constant evaluation of what is changing, what's going well, what needs to be slightly edited, how you need to pivot. It was interesting because I did this year to sort of build Sadie Pitsy Interiors. And then after about 4.5 years, I realized that actually all of that wasn't kind of quite true anymore. And I then actually worked with a consultant to go back into what was the brand of Sadie Pitsy Interiors. So we spent almost a year sort of looking at the how, the why, the when, and then building up the whole new branding and corporate identity, and then into the website. And it was a lot of work. But I think that just shows that you don't just build a business and go, that's it, we're off. You build and you're constantly evaluating. Evolving. So it's interesting.
So you started out, decided you wanted to do it, took a year to get it all right and plan it and do everything properly. It then started, and then business was good.
Yeah, business was good from the beginning. I think I came in, so the launch date for my business was March the 3rd, 2020. So not ideal with lockdown. But what it allowed me was a bit of time whilst lockdown first hit to kind of, understand and sort of pivot. And then people were like, well, now we're going to spend money on our homes because we can't spend it on travel or anything like that. So it was quite a launch in.
Well timed.
It was well timed. It's like I planned it, and I really didn't. But it meant that I definitely had to learn a lot quicker than I thought I was going to have to.
Yeah. But that's a sign of, if business is likely to go well, then there's going to be peaks and troughs with it in terms of the learning and how much business you can take on at any one time.
Definitely.
But obviously huge advantage being in a market where the demand's there for it.
Yes. But I'll tell you, you can't sort of just go with that. That was another learn, I think. I came into the business and it was all systems go, and there was a lot of work. And I early on did not spend any time networking or meeting people because I sort of didn't have to, and you couldn't, I guess, because of lockdown. And one of the biggest lessons learned was when everybody went back to normal and people were not prioritizing their homes so much, it was actually realizing what are the processes and the steps that I need to put in to make sure that there's always a constant flow of lead generation coming in. That was a massive learn. And it's something that I think people don't spend long enough working on.
Yeah, we have it in property as well, right? You're always looking for deals or looking for money, typically, right? Whether that's private lending or whether that's traditional lending. But I fell foul of looking for deals and all efforts on that.
Yeah.
And then you'll get the deal accepted and you'll be like, right, I need to find some money now.
Yeah.
So all efforts are on that. And so trying to keep the both going all the time is the gold, right?
It is the gold. How do you manage that now? I know I'm jumping ahead because I do want to go back to the start of it, but how do you manage that?
Relationships. And one thing that's keeps smashing me in the face is the importance of having relationships.
Yeah.
And that helps from a finance perspective, that helps from finding opportunity perspective. If you can build relationships, if you do nothing else but start understanding who it is you need to build relationships with and then go and do it consistently and follow up, I think that stands you in such a strong position compared to lots of other people who don't do it or don't value it.
Yeah.
And just on networking, like networking is hit and miss.
Yes.
You know, it takes a while for you to get out there and understand which ones are going to be serving you and which ones aren't as much. And then you've got to make that difficult decision. And you might have built relationships with people, but if it's not serving you or your business, then why are you going?
100%.
So yeah, I think networking relationships are critical to trying to maintain that flow of existing work and new work.
I agree. I think managing your time with all of that is so important, which is why, we talk a lot about process on this podcast. We're both massively into it. But there is also a sort of process for how you're doing that. And I very much stick to this, like almost timesheet of, I have time for X amount of networking. I have time to then have X amount of coffees. And then I also, because you don't then waste meeting these people, I have a spreadsheet of who I've met, when I've met, and when I will potentially next reach out to that person.
Yep.
And I think that's important in all lines of business.
Brilliant. Yeah. So many don't do it.
So many don't.
So 3 of our first 4 deals came through follow-up.
Yeah.
So I'd viewed them and I just kept, we've talked about it before, right? Where every other week I'm on the phone to the agents.
Yeah.
How's it going? What's happened with this? Have you got any more? 3 of 4 came through that process.
Wow.
Had I not had that process, I wouldn't have had those deals. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important.
It's really important.
So going back then, so you've started, you've had a bit of consultancy around reshaping the business, evolving the business to its next level with some support.
Yeah.
That's happened now.
Yeah.
What else? What else has come since?
I mean, process. Yeah, God, it's just such an exciting topic. But I will say, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I do have a 10-step process.
No way.
Yeah, I know. It has been a game changer for everything in the business. It's a game changer for so many reasons. Number one, because it's really easy to explain how this project will look to clients. Like, even though every client and every project and every property is unique and different, the process stays the same. We flow through that process in the same way. And why? Because it means that we can repeatedly make sure that we are providing an excellent service, that we don't forget anything that's important, and that everybody that we come into contact knows how we work. And that for me is so important. And then internally as a team, we know where we are in each project. Yeah. It's the only way you can grow if you have systems and processes in.
Yeah. It's a difference between in the business and on the business, right? Which I bang on about a lot.
Definitely. And I will say that building processes is not exciting. And it's something that is really hard in any business to actually prioritize time to do, particularly if you're busy and you're doing well, to set aside 2 hours a week to work on whichever stage of that process might feel like, oh, this isn't bringing in any direct money right now. But I will say that it's the only way you can grow.
You might not even know what your processes are. So it's that little bit harder. So be motivated to go and try and learn that and work that out.
Yes.
Because no one else can do it.
No one else can do it. And I have a real thing about when you'll meet like a business coach and they'll want to sell you their process, because I think everybody should have their own process that works for their independent business.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think you're right. When you first start, that's why it's so hard, because you don't have a process in and you don't actually know what it looks like to work through. And that just is time and trial and error.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, what about you?
Before we move on.
Oh, you wanted me to talk all the way through?
What does the next 5 years look like? Have you thought?
Just world domination, I think, Milesh. Just going to keep it really simple.
Realistic.
I think the next 5 years is about growing the team. So I currently have, I manage the business with freelancers, which work really well, and they're international. And thank you to lockdown, that is fantastic in how we can now work.
Yeah.
And it also means that as a business you can take less risk. Whereas before lockdown, I would have just employed someone locally, and they would have been on a salary, and that would have been what it looked like. But now, because of Zoom and how we now work, we can decide to have a freelancer who's somewhere else in the world and bring them in project by project and build slowly. And that is fantastic.
It's much, much slicker, isn't it?
100%.
More efficient, more cost effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
loads of pros.
The next stage is to have an on-the-ground team as well as having international freelancers. And to just grow slowly and steadily, I think is the way forward.
Love it. It wins a race, doesn't it?
100% wins the race. Anyway, I feel like I've done all the talking, Milesh.
Okay, my turn.
So your turn. So your property developing journey began when?
So my story started when I left the corporate world. So I fell quite ill 13 years ago, almost to the day actually. And that was a big game changer for me in life. I was in corporate for 17 odd years and life was good, but I wasn't prioritizing my health. I was hungry, passionate, driven, all those things. So work was going well, being promoted very regularly. But I say to people now, there's no destination in the sat-nav. And it, for me, took my health scare for me to kind of wake up to that and a whole new sense of perspective. And I thought, actually, I don't want to work in corporate anymore. How can I craft a career out of something that's going to give me what I want out of life? So our three values, if you like, were time, flexibility, freedom. I had a couple of properties, a couple of buy-to-lets years ago and thought, oh, hold on, maybe, just maybe I can craft a career out of this that delivers me what I want. And so that's how it started. So got into buying property that was run down, that we could add value to, and our strategy was HMOs. And interesting, going back to process and thinking ahead, live by example and all that, right? My wife and I sat down and said, right, okay, what does life look like for us? Which is really difficult to do, but we kind of mapped out what we want things to look like and just some key things that sort of stood out. So for me, one of them was I want to be one of the only dads doing the school run. And I want work to work around that. So that was one of the goals, if you like. Obviously then financially we had financial goals. So what do we need to live off? What's going to replace my income after that, stage 2, if you like. And then the third part of the plan was for my wife to leave her job after I did. And we just wrote down a plan and executed it. As simple as that, really. I mean, there's a bit of work that goes in.
God, I wish I could just write a few things down on a bit of paper and it comes true.
Yeah, obviously, but it gives you the motivation. It gives you the purpose, right? And my background prior to work was in business. My parents had businesses and stuff. And so I've always kind of grown up in it. So that's how I got into property. I said HMOs to start with. We did what we needed to do with that. And then my wife left her job 5 years ago, which was all part of the plan. And now the plan is to do capital projects because essentially I want lumps of cash.
Fair.
So that day to day income wise, we're doing okay. We're managing our existing portfolio and tweaking that and evolving. But yeah, now it's about capital projects. And then summer 2024 happened where I was going out networking a lot, doing a lot of networking within the property world, and a lot of networking in the business world, and saw that actually, wouldn't it be great to have a property specific business and investor developer networking event? And that's how the Property Edge was born. So that has been really good. Enjoyed and loved doing that. It's growing. So it's a business in itself. It's not just a networking event. It's a networking business. So we are treating it as that. So that's really cool. And something I've been doing for the last 6 or 7 years or beyond is working with people on a one-to-one basis. So again, this year, focus a little bit more on that to make sure that, I'm doing what I'm saying I'm doing in terms of building it properly as a business.
What made you want to start to get into sort of more of an advisory role?
A really good question. So it took me a few years to work this out after I left work. And the bit I really missed was people development. You know, that annual review that you have at work, or you sit down with your boss and they're like, right, what's going on? Nobody loved doing it.
No.
Nobody.
No, definitely
But
not.
the specific bit I missed from that was career development plan, right? Everyone had to have one and think about what that might look like. And just my little contribution to their career development was really rewarding.
Okay.
And so that kind of seed is what I took into my business and thought, actually, yeah, maybe I have got something to share and I have picked up a bit of knowledge and experience and stuff. And as I've grown, that's grown. And so that's kind of where it came about.
Oh, interesting.
Great question.
Thank you. I really try my hardest. What do you think your biggest lessons have been on this journey?
Go bigger, always.
What do you mean by that?
So you could, so it's a pro and a con.
Okay.
So you could 10x everything, right? There is a theory out there that don't just grow by this much, grow 10 times that.
Yeah.
Or aim to grow 10 times that. So that is a theory. Could I have done that? Could I have done that at the start? Possibly. Do I regret it? No. And I think this is where it's a con, in that a downside, because at what cost? And with the backdrop of my experience with health and everything else, I've always placed that life priority over business priority.
Yeah. And
so I don't want to make billions and billions and millions. I just want enough for me to live the life that I want to lead.
Yeah.
And support the people around me.
Yeah.
So that is the ultimate kind of premise of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And being in control.
Yeah.
Being in control of our time, who we speak to, who we don't speak to. I've had situations with property people that I've worked with that I've chosen not to work with because I don't have to.
No.
And having that choice is really, really important.
I totally agree. I think that is such a nice position to be in. Sometimes I think that goes back to, like you say, the knowing your worth is it means that you can say no to things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes that feels awful at the time, but actually it's so much better.
Yeah. And whether that's people, whether that's opportunities, we've said before in previous episodes, right? Don't say yes to every opportunity. No. Say no more. And that only happens if you have the confidence and the clarity on what you're about and what you're looking to achieve. Definitely. I think that's really, really important, really, really important. And in specific to property, you've got to play the long game today, where previously you may not have had to.
Yes.
So look out into the future beyond that one deal. What does 10 deals look like? What type of deals does there have to be?
Yeah.
And just think about it that way, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. Should we have a quick look at what we've been sent in today?
Yeah.
Hot
Related,
seat time. I really hope people are sending in more for our next series because we love a good hot seat. So I'm standing at a crossroads in my property journey. There are several opportunities in front of me, but I'm worried about making the wrong decision. How do you know which path to take? I think I know what you're going to say.
Just wing it?
No, that was not what I thought you were. After all of this that we've been going on and on about.
Yeah, as you'd expect, I'm going to be saying what are the long-term goals, ambitions, plans. Weave in that little bit of life stuff as well to make sure you're maintaining that.
Yeah.
What are you good at? What do you love doing?
Yeah, that's true, actually, because you've got to do it for a large chunk of your time.
Yeah, and actually, when we start out, when we're in the business, we are everything to everyone.
Yeah.
And that is great if that's what you want to do and if you love every single thing that you do or that needs to be done in your business. But actually, if you know your strengths from the outset, yes, you have to do stuff you might not love doing, but there's a goal in itself. How do I grow the business enough so that I don't have to do that stuff? Yeah. And what does that look like? And that opens up a whole another set of thinking.
Yes.
Which I think is awesome.
Totally agree.
And what's the downside of you not doing the thing you think you want to do?
Yeah.
Are you going to be in what if mode forever? And that's not a great place to be.
No.
And what if you actually did do nothing?
Yes. I would advise maybe a bit of time in some spreadsheets over this, actually writing down the data of what are, the 3, 4 different options, having, a list of questions that you're going to ask for each 4 outcomes.
Yeah.
And that's going to help you sort of analyze which way to go.
Yeah. And actually, is this what I want?
Yeah.
And back to that life thing. I think like that is so important. And obviously we're blessed today because we've built what we've built to be in this position.
Yeah.
But I wish I'd have done that right from the start, all the time, consistently.
Yes, me too.
Because you do go through spells of it. And, business is demanding. Having your own gig is not easy.
It's not. It's like having another child, without a doubt.
Yeah. And
the hardest child, actually.
And I'll be honest, one of the things I struggle with even today is switching off and having the discipline to do that. So if you can get all of these little practices in earlier, the sooner, the better it's going to be for your own growth and your business growth as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Actually, I do think that the one word should be consistency, and I think it's really hard because it can be really dull. It's a bit like how you look at working out, for example. Not many people love it. Well, I certainly don't. But you know that you have to do it, at a set amount of time each week for you to see the results, and you have to constantly do it. It's the same in business, and it's all the different parts of your business.
Yeah.
You have to consistently turn up and do them.
Yeah. Yeah. And mapping out what all those things are is a great place to start.
Yes.
Because then you can work out, number one, the bits you've got to focus on over others and the bits you love over others.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We could go on forever
We could go on forever, but basically what we have said is there are so many parts to business, and it's ever evolving, and you're constantly learning, and there is never going to be one perfect decision.
But there's value in making thoughtful decisions, taking action, isn't there, and learning as you go along. Every day is a school day.
Every day is a school day. And we hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and in fact, the whole series. So if you have, we would love you to like, subscribe, share a review, and follow us on our socials.
So if you've enjoyed the series, it would be great to hear from you. Let us know how we're doing. And if there's a topic you want us to pick up in the next series, then please do shout out.
And thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.